Welcome back to the Cyberfusion Distribution video podcast. I'm fortunate enough to be joined today on the sofa by Alex and Nick. Welcome to the sofa, guys.
Thanks so much. Great to be here with you, Steve.
No, and Trustwave, recent signing for us. Fantastic vendor. Absolutely loving working with you guys and what you do. Alex, could you give us a bit about you, your role, and Trustwave as a company?
Absolutely. So I'm the EMEA Alliances and Channel Director for Trustwave. So I've been here just over 5 years, and it's been a really exciting time for Trustwave. A lot of big changes, not only in our own sort of programs and the way that we run our alliances programs, but also into our channel program as well. I think a lot of our partner community will know us as a vendor historically. So some incredible products and some incredible brand names still carried by the Trustwave business, like Mail Marshal, our Database Protect offering. But around about 3 years ago, when I came in to look after the channel, we really started to drive out our services go-to-market motion with our channel partners. And we made that turn around 15 years ago. So we've traditionally been a product vendor. And then we actually made a step into heavily being focused on managed detection and response. We led that marketplace for around about the last 15 years. And you can still check all of the quadrants. So we're all analyst leading around that. And then we've actually developed out our services proposition to include things like co-managed SOC. So a lot of organizations are looking to mature their security go-to-market. So we've been maturing our managed security service offerings to work alongside our customers' needs and requirements. And it's been an absolute pleasure to really build that program, drop it into channel, and obviously to be working with the Cyberfusion team to accelerate that out into the UK channel community. So really exciting times at Trustwave. Obviously delighted to have the partnership in place. Really looking forward to working with our partner community in 2025.
That's fantastic. And you know, you're a relatively new vendor for us, but we've known you for years personally and as a vendor.
Absolutely.
It's a testament to the fact that a lot of the partners and customers we're going out to now, your email security solutions have been ingrained in them for years. A lot of the customers, it's 8-10 years they've had these in place. So it's obviously a very solid solution and it's well respected out there. So it's great to be part of the Trustwave family. And we're very much looking forward to getting involved with the services as well.
Yeah.
And Nick, coming across to you, Cyberfusion is distributor. For us, it's all about the channel. Tell me, how important is the channel to Trustwave, and why did you look to distribution to sort of engage the channel and take your journey that next step on?
Yeah, good question, Steve. So I still remember that meeting on that bus back in the summer. I remember
about 10 minutes of it, and then got a bit hazy, but yes.
I think I'd only been with the business for about 3 months. I've only been Trustwave for 9 months altogether. Started talking to Alex back in sort of April, May time. Some people will know me, some people won't. I've been in the industry for about 20 years, working for people like RSA, VeriSign, Mandiant, FarEye, and more recently Proofpoint. Looked at Trustwave, talking to Alex, seemed like a really, really great organisation. And I always had this challenge, always wanted to get services successful through the channel. And I think that's something unique, hasn't really been done before. And I felt Trustwave was the right company to try and do that with.
Yeah, no, sounds great. And we've seen instances, the channel encompasses all size and mannerism of partners, small, large, multinational. And I think there's certainly a market for what you guys do and partners that don't have that expertise. If an end user will put their trust in you and buy those services, then a channel partner certainly would. And it opens up a whole opportunity for those guys to take your services to market through themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, you went to InfoSec this year, and I can't believe how many different vendors there are, all saying they're unique, all saying they do something different. A lot of information about AI and machine learning and all. But actually, I don't know what half of these vendors really do. So I do think it's important, especially with the consolidation that's going on in the marketplace, to go with a vendor that's been around for 20, 25 years. And if you look back 20 years, cybersecurity used to be so simple. You had a checkpoint firewall, some McAfee antivirus.
And a fax machine.
A fax machine, some RSA tokens, and that was kind of it. But if you look at the landscape and how cyber has matured, it's still the same issues, it's still the same problems. Phishing's still a big problem. Yeah. Not having enough people, not having the skills, not having the expertise. These are all same issues that you had 20 years ago. And Trustwave is a great organisation to try and help with that.
I think as well, partners, right, have had to really look at that particular problem as well, because I mean, managed security services have been in the industry for a long time, right? You know, Nick and I have sort of 20 years, dare we say it, heritage in this kind of area. And it's for the channel now to kind of look at that challenge of how to add value. And I think, you know, traditional resale is fantastic, right? But we've got to wrap a value layer around that because IT environments becoming so complex. You know, as Nick said, finding the right resources to be able to run that and get true ROI rather than just having a very expensive technology stack, you know, is now a problem. So, you know, I think what the benefits that we can bring to the channel is helping them make those decisions about how our service is going to work for me. Should I build? Should I buy? How can I work with a trusted partner to actually lay a value into that managed security service cycle? And I think that's a really exciting challenge for us to really start to help partners along that journey with a really exciting area of the security industry, really, really relevant. Customers need it. And obviously the deal sizes are quite nice as well, right? So it means that we can all get out there, add a huge amount of value whilst doing obviously what we like to do in channel as well, whilst making some good money together.
That's the most important factor. And I think I've seen a lot of, you know, I spend a lot of time in the channel, and there's a whole new breed of MSP, MSSP cropping up that doesn't have the experience and the history you guys have, and they're selling on price. So you get in an inferior service and they're giving a bad experience to the customers. And I think that's where the value you guys can offer to the channel, where they can still go in, pitch it as though they are this bigger player, but have the experience and your expertise that they're selling, I think is huge and going to be a great thing for the channel.
Well, you're absolutely right. And you look at the consolidation that's happened over the channel partners. I mean, I know there's hundreds, thousands of regional partners out there, but if you look at cybersecurity, there's probably 10, 15 partners that really going to kind of move the needle and do a lot of those big projects and do a lot of that business. And what are those partners after? They're after three key things. They want to make good margin, as we all do, and we can deliver that. They want products that work, so something that's reliable, and they know that when they sell it to their customers, it's going to work and do what it says. And then the third thing they want someone who's easy to do business with. So a company that, you know, just does what it says it's going to do. You know, good people to work with, friendly people to work with, and will deliver on what they commit. And so put those three things together, plus the portfolio of what we've got. And I think Trustwave's got something pretty unique in the marketplace that those top 10, 15 cyber partners are all interested in talking about. And, you know, in the 9 months I've been here, I've never had so many interesting conversations around services. Many of these partners are thinking, do we build a service out? Do we become an MSSP? And it is a tough build or buy decision because the investment is big. Yeah. And we can help them with that by taking them down that journey, talking through what the advantages are and the disadvantages, because we've been doing it for years.
Yeah. And I think that's very apparent even in the short space of time we've been doing it. Obviously I can't mention any names, but the established customers we're seeing that are customers of yours is mind-blowing. And it's like, wow. So it's not like you're a new kid on the block. You've been doing this for a significant number of years, and you've got hands in with a lot of large enterprise and government customers. It's fantastic to see. And they're obviously there for a reason. So it's great that the channel can come to a company like you and know that you've got experience in dealing with these and also work with one very similar customers. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, I mean, our average customer tenure is 10 years with Trustwave. So, you know, we are that safe pair of hands. We've built our own SOC capabilities. I think, you know, as Nick said, a lot of organizations are going through that build and buy decision at the moment. But, you know, we are that safe pair of hands where we can guide organizations down that road to help them understand, you know, should you be investing in this area? Should you be buying in this area? You know, and I think that's where, you know, when we look at kind of that 25 years heritage and we look at a lot of our competition out there in the marketplace, some really good quality services, but they're still learning their lessons, right? They're still understanding the market, understanding how they need to deliver that capability. And we've seen some switches and changes there. I think from Trustwave, you said, you know, we're very consistent. We know what our service needs to look like. We've run it for many, many years. But not only can we help organizations around kind of some of those core managed security service issues, we can also help organizations build that 5-year 5-year roadmap. And I think, everyone has that big question of what's next? Where are we going? What's the big new trend? And obviously, I encourage everybody to go back and listen to the podcast that we recorded today, actually, which was the panel with Ed Williams, talking about the new trends that are coming downstream, and there's lots of exciting new things out there for us to get interested in, like AI, right? The big buzzword. But for us, it goes back to the fundamentals that we should be working on with partners on how we can get the right cyber basics in for their customers to make sure they're secure, and then help them build on that journey, on that roadmap, so they can start to introduce new and exciting areas of the portfolio, like artificial intelligence, but do it in a meaningful way. And that's where hopefully, our experience can really help our partner community go down that road, but also build that layer of trust with their end user community, and hopefully in 10 years time, we've all got customers that we've been with for the last 10 years and are delighted with the service.
So for any partners watching today, looking at Trustwave as a vendor, what are the key services and I'm going to call your email security a service, but it's obviously a technology. What are the key technology and services that they could come to you for?
Yeah, and I think for us, we have quite a big security services portfolio, and sometimes it's difficult for our partners to navigate. And we built our services portfolio so you can take, as a partner, sections out of it to enhance your go-to-market. But really, for FY25, there's going to be 3 key themes that we're really going to be looking at, and that's driven by engagement with the CISO communities that we work with in Trustwave, engagement with our channel community, really understanding the need and requirement out there, but then how can we help our partners differentiate? So those key 3 areas. CISO's number one concern at the moment is still phishing, right? So there's all of these glamorous areas that you can invest in a portfolio, but we talked about taking it back to basics. Yeah. Quality layered email protection is so needed, so required. 1 out of 4 breaches is still down to phishing ransomware. So, taking it back to the basics and making sure that you've got the right cyber hygiene, that you revisited your email security strategy, and you have the right protections in place is absolutely critical.
And I think complementing Microsoft as well. I mean, everybody's going to have Microsoft or so complementing and working with those partners, not
you
trying to
work
work
against them, competitor, even though they run an email. Okay.
No, we see them absolutely as a complementary technology. So, with Microsoft and Trustwave, Mailmarsh, that's a whole solution that's going to stop that phishing problem. And, if you are a vendor out there and you're competing against Microsoft, where's that ultimately going to get you? Because Microsoft's always going to win that battle. So, I think that's another great example because a lot of our partners will have big Microsoft practices. They'll have big Microsoft spends. So they want a vendor that's complementary to Microsoft and gets on together and is part of that ecosystem, not someone that's directly trying to compete with them.
So any of our partners that currently have Microsoft as part of their portfolio shouldn't dismiss you, should actually look at you as bringing on a complementary email security product that would actually make Microsoft actually enhance the solution further.
Yeah, and they can even buy the technology through the Microsoft Marketplace.
Wow, okay.
So, we're really interlinked, really intertwined. So there's lots of different ways we can all work together and be friends.
Okay, that's good to know. And to you guys, what would a good partner look like? So obviously, the UK reseller network and systems integrator network is vast, from one-man bands through to, global conglomerates. What are Trustwave looking for in a partner, both from commitment, both from experience, expertise, and customer base? What does good look like?
We are a vendor that works with enterprise customers. So if you're a partner that has got lots of small SMB customers, Trustwave probably isn't the right vendor for you, being very honest. That customer that's 1,000 users or above, ones that have got a security operations center, one that's customers that have got some kind of infrastructure, a SOC, those are the sort of organizations that we're going to work best with because they need help. They probably haven't got the resources they need. They're going to need help in services. They're going to need help in products. They're going to need help from our portfolio of technology. So, that 1,000 user level and above is where we play best. I think when partners come and talk to us about the level and the amount of margin they can make, not only on our products, but on their services, they're quietly surprised. I think their expectation is that because it's services, the margins are going to be small. I can tell you now they're not. They're very, very generous. And I think it is a case of, it goes back to what I said previously. It's about being easy to work with. It's about delivering on what you say you're going to do, and having a little bit of fun in the space, not taking everything really seriously. Enjoying yourselves. And I think if you add all of those things together, you'll enjoy working with Trustwave, and we'll enjoy working with you.
Sounds like the perfect mix.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note as well that we don't want to be a mile wide and an inch deep with our partners, right? So we're going to be looking to sign and work with partners, obviously, that want to commit into us, and we want to commit back into the partner community. So, you won't see from Trustwave that we're going to go out there and sign up 100 new partners tomorrow. We want a handful of really good quality partners that we're entrenched with, that we can have that meaningful relationship and that we can invest in each other as well. So that's really important for us when we're looking for the right partner, is there's got to be mutual commitment, mutual engagement. And honestly, whatever you give into Trustwave will give back to you 10 times over. So, we're really looking for those partners that want to engage with us.
No, sounds good.
Just to cover off on the trends that we were talking about before. So the first trend that definitely from our side is going to be phishing, right? Because we're seeing a lot of CISOs drive that conversation. It's still a major concern point. And as we were talking about before with Nick, so we actually do a lot of research on how we can help not only reduce the amount of phishing coming into organizations, but actually how we can throttle down the amount of phishing that's hitting the end user. And it's taking that decision-making process out of it. And we actually test with Microsoft. It's a collaborative technology. And we test the two technologies together and the power and their ability to stop phishing attacks. And we're at 99.99% effective rate. So we can help CISOs by employing a layered email security protection strategy, reduce the amount of decisions that end user having to make about whether that is a phishing email or not. So that's definitely been one that's been on the Christmas list for the CISOs that we talk with. The second area for us is, we talked about taking it back to basics, right? So we talked about offensive security. Offensive security for us is penetration testing, red teaming. It's making sure that, you're vulnerability scanning your environment so you can really start to get ahead of where those breach points are, threat vectors, misconfigurations in your environment. And actually, interestingly, there's been some big compliance drivers, mostly in Europe, like NIS2, for example, that are going to start to drive these compliance regimes into organizations to make sure that they've got that best practice in place, especially around offensive security. And word of caution to the UK, we're going to get very similar compliance coming downstream to us very, very quickly. So we'll be helping a lot of partners and customers prepare for that compliance, make sure that they've got the right testing and compliance regimes in place, so we can actually get them compliant before they need to be, before that critical pinch point date. And then the third area for us is the amount of conversations that we have with organizations that are trying to look at build or buy in the way of a SOC. So do they outsource that? Do they buy the technology and then bring in a managed security services provider? And actually, a lot of the opportunity that's coming into Trustwave at the moment is for managed SIEM, managed SOC services. And we can be very collaborative with end users there. So say, for example, an end user has made that investment, has a team, doesn't want to get rid of that team, but needs help. And we can come in and essentially augment that team and help with the service capability around it. Or we can take the full management of that environment off their hands. So that's why we call it co-managed SOC.
Gotcha.
Because, it's a managed SIM, but it means that we can essentially throttle up or down our capabilities depending on what the customer needs. We've seen a lot of requirement this year for co-managed SOC. We expect that to continue to expand. And, interestingly, again, big deal sizes here, right? For organizations who've made that investment, need to get the ROI out of the technology, and need to show that they're compliant. So, 3 key areas. So phishing, offensive, co-managed SOC is really the 3 push areas for Trustwave in 2025.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alex. And I think one other thing that's been very prevalent for me that you've come across very well at doing, a lot of partners I feel will shy away or won't respond to RFQs, RFPs, because we don't do that. And just in the short time we've been working together, I've seen such a helpful attitude from you guys where you will help qualify, help put together, and almost act on behalf of the partner in submitting an RFP, RFQ, and pushing those services through them. And that's fantastic to be able to have that ability. I know years ago when I worked in the partner world, if it didn't say, I want this, I wouldn't do it. But to be able to sort of bounce it off you guys and say, can we do this as a conjoined effort is fantastic.
Also having that technical resource as well, right? So, I mean, a lot of business is done via RFP these days, unfortunately. And I'm with you, Steve. I remember the days when you get the RFP and you think, have I got the right technical resource to respond here? You know, are my bid team too busy? So I think when we built the channel program, we were really trying to take in account for those partner issues and where can we add value back into our partner and a reseller community and distribution community. And actually we have a team of 20 RFP experts. They live and breathe RFPs all day, every day. They're an incredible team. So actually, you're quite right. We have a service where, if you find an RFP, you're not sure, you want someone to take a look over it, or you just can't respond, then you can send that into Trustwave. Wow. Our team will actually write that response for you, top to tail. Unfortunately, salespeople, you can't get out of the executive summary. Nope. We still need a bit of help there, right? Still
a great help.
But the full technical response will be written for our partners. And we're seeing a lot of people take advantage of that. So if there's one thing that I could give partners in the way of a takeaway, if you see a cybersecurity RFP, it's for managed security services, send it over. We'll take a look and we'll help you respond.
Right. We'll certainly be letting our partners know that.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Just one last point from me. The partnership between Trustwave and Cyberfusion has only been sort of 6 months or so, but we're so impressed with what you've been doing.
Thanks, guys. That's good to
hear. You're certainly adding value kind of every day and helping us. And you've got a really good complementary vendors, which is important. And you're not chasing after the new shiny thing, which is really, really good to see.
Yeah. There's three things. The technology's got to work. There's got to be money in it. And you've got to like the people that work there. And you guys hit all three. So it's an absolute pleasure with you and looking forward to more of these sessions and doing great things with you over the next 12 months. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Nick.
Cheers.
Lovely speaking to you.
Great 2025.
Yeah.
Cheers.